Okay. As the toilet goes off.
My killers will not take no for an answer.
So I've never made a video like this before, and I didn't think I was gonna have to film a video like this anytime soon. But so this happened today, and yeah, I'm just gonna show you guys. So I was questioning whether or not that I was pregnant or not, and I take this dollar store test just for, you know, I guess jokes at first, but it came up positive. So I peed on another. That one also came up positive. So then I was like, we need to like invest in a nice test. Then that one came out as absolutely pregnant. Like, I didn't even pee on it and let it sit for 3 minutes before that popped up as pregnant. So what do you think about this? I know it's a deep-rooted question right now.
I'm hoping for the best and that we can provide it the best life we can and that we remain in the love that got us in the situation we're in now. So as long as we stay in love and keep that as our main focus, we'll provide.
So what's the question on everyone's mind if they're asking whether or not we're going to keep this?
Yes.
Yeah, we are. In that last clip, me and Bradley were like kind of in shock, so I didn't really go into too many details. Okay, so the logistics behind this is I'm about 4.5 to 5 weeks pregnant. I found that out on the internet. Currently, the only symptoms I have are definitely getting really overheated, like easily, and really cold easily. Like if the temperature's not like moderate, I'm like dying. Like I'm really hot or really cold. I've been having cramping in my stomach, which I hope is normal. And I've definitely been feeling a little nauseous. I haven't thrown up or anything. I've been reading online like ways to like, there's like lollipops and stuff you can suck on so you like don't throw up. So maybe once it's like later on, I heard like you don't start throwing up until like 6 to 8 weeks, like during the first trimester. So I think I'm good. I'm gonna be documenting this whole thing because what the, I'd be an idiot if I didn't. This is like hopefully not a once in a lifetime thing, but it's pretty crazy. Like, what the I got a notification today saying, congratulations, you're on week 6. You can now officially hear the baby's heartbeat. So I read online that pretty much around week 6 is when your morning sickness spikes, and here I was thinking, holy shit, I'm lucky, like I'm not gonna get any type of morning sickness, and like literally almost instantaneously waking up on day 6 is when I started feeling like really nauseous. So I was reading up online and they were saying like pretty much like depending on what you're craving or like how sick you are is like depending on whether or not you're having a boy or a girl. So I was like, holy shit, I'm craving salty foods. So I was thinking, oh, I'm not craving anything sweet. Like my face was really clear and I was like, it's a boy. I was like, oh my God, it's gotta be a boy. But then randomly my face started like hella breaking out, like worse than like period breakout. I go to my first appointment on Monday. So like around like the 7-week point, I think, is when I'm gonna go talk to a doctor basically and see like if everything's going good. Like one of my biggest concerns right now is that like I take a medication called Lamictal, which is for like either epilepsy, some people use it for, or like bipolar disorder is what I've been taking it for. And I've read online that it could cause birth defects. Not necessarily like anything wrong mentally, but mostly like physical things like a clubbed foot or like a cleft palate or whatever. So I've been weaning off of it. So on top of everything else, I'm having like medication withdrawals that I've been on for like years. And it's like a whole nother like situation. Mad headaches. Like I don't even feel real sometimes. It's like I can't even focus. It's not as bad as coming down from Klonopin, which is something I had to do years ago. But yeah, I definitely want to talk to my doctor and see like, is it okay to like completely stop? Like what should I be doing? So as you can tell from the title of this video, this is not going to be a cute pregnancy vlog. Definitely not the direction I wanted to go with this video. Definitely not the direction I would ever want to go with my life. I can say, hands down, this is one of the most insane things that my body and mind has ever experienced. And it's taken me a while to pull it together and get all my facts straight. You know, I had to go to the doctor, I had to get blood work done. And I just wanted to make sure like everything was what it was before making this video. Me and my boyfriend definitely were not actively trying to have a baby. I'm not gonna sit here and say that we weren't actively trying to avoid having a baby. I mean, I'm not gonna wear condoms. Like, why would you do that when you're in a long-term relationship with someone? Like, I think everyone knows how babies are made. Some people would think like putting your personal life on the internet like this is like something you shouldn't do. Honestly, I'm not gonna leave people who follow me online in the dark. Not to mention, I think I owe it to myself to just get this off my chest. The whole pregnancy from start to finish was about 8 weeks. So this whole ordeal to me lasted 2 months. It's a really crazy thing to go through because when you're pregnant, like, it's such an insane feeling. I felt like I was like creating like a soul. I know that sounds like so ridiculous, but like I felt like a life force like inside of me. I don't want to get emotional because I've already cried so much over this. I've cried harder over this than like anything in my life because I'm getting substantially older. I'm 28 now as I'm filming this. So by the time I would have had the baby, I would have been 29. So it's like 30 is just crawling up there. Having a baby is something I've always wanted ever since I was a little kid. I loved playing with dolls. Like, dolls were like my toy of choice. I had so many Cabbage Patch Kids. Like, never in my life have I ever been like, I don't want kids, you know, but clearly I didn't want kids when I was like 20 or like that young. So now that I'm in my like later 20s, I definitely want kids like 100%. It's upsetting because I could have been a mom, you know, like I was going to be a mom. And now, like, I feel like that was taken from me. I feel like I didn't really deserve that. Going through a miscarriage is something, like, I would not, like, wish on anyone. The feeling you have when you're pregnant, like I said, you feel like there's, like, a soul in you. Like, you have crazy, like, lucid dreams. Throughout my pregnancy, like, everything was fairly normal. Like, I was nauseous as hell. Like, I was constantly eating saltines and stuff because I didn't want to throw up everywhere. Like, the nausea thing is no joke. People are not, like, it's not funny when people say, like, you throw up and stuff when you're pregnant. Like, that is genuinely not funny. I was literally like doing breathing exercises like in the shower, like don't throw up. Everything was fairly normal. I had like mad symptoms, like everything was going like as it should have been. Part of me wants to blame myself like over and over again, like for everything I did wrong. Like, I don't drink or anything, so that clearly had no factor in this. I was eating all healthy foods, no fast foods. Like, I haven't even ate fast food in months. I just go to Whole Foods. Like, I was doing everything as good as I could. Like, I don't drink soda, I don't drink coffee. You can't really control this. It was probably like a chromosome deformity or something that caused it to happen, but like, I just want to blame myself, you know, like it was the medication, it was, I didn't do this right, I was really angry that day and that caused stress. Like, I cried a lot and that like caused stress. I'm probably like never going to get over this. Like, I feel like getting over this would be the worst thing to do, just to forget about it, because I don't want to forget about it. Like, it was something I wanted, I planned for. Like, I started making like a baby registry on Amazon, like of stuff that like I really wanted, that I thought was like really cool. It's a really shitty situation, and like I said, it's taken me a while to pull myself together just to sit down and film this and like not cry about it, because like I said, I've been crying. I cried for like a week straight. I know a lot of people watching this are probably like they don't want the grueling details, but I feel like there's people that might use this as video as a learning experience. There's probably people on the internet that are searching for the same kind of subject, looking for answers, so hopefully I can give you some of those answers. First thing that I noticed was after me and my boyfriend hooked up one day, I'm saying hooked up, after me and my boyfriend hooked up, I had insane cramps, like really bad, like on the floor in the fetal position, like crying cramps. I'm cramping, and I did my research online, and it was like, yeah, sometimes like if you have an orgasm, it can cause contractions and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, like I wasn't bleeding or anything. But I noticed the next day when I woke up and went to the bathroom, there was like a little bit of like pink like spotting. And I was like, oh my God, like that's not normal, is it? So I looked online and I was like, yeah, it could be normal, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, you know, not gonna trip about it. And then it just kept progressively getting worse. Like it went from like a little bit of spotting to like every time I would go to the bathroom, like some blood would come out. This is not normal. But I kept doing my research online and it would be like, yeah, it is normal. There's like inflammation, bleeding. Like sometimes people have their period the whole time they're pregnant. Like every girl's different. I'm just like, okay, you know, like I just trusted it and went with it. Like I said, I was completely healthy. Like went along like a normal healthy diet. Like I don't eat meat, like I've been taking prenatal vitamins, like I don't drink, like I was coming off of my medication, completely like doing what a normal person would be doing. I don't smoke cigarettes. I did smoke cigarettes though for like years. I smoked for like 6 years or something, but I quit 5 years ago. I'm hoping that that doesn't have like a major effect on my body. I did a lot of things when I was younger that I feel like had a major effect on my body now, like such as the cigarettes, like partying, stuff like that. So it got to the point where after a couple of days, the bleeding progressed to like having to wear like a small pad in like my underwear because like blood was coming out. At this point, like I started to freak out. Like I was definitely researching a lot of stuff online. Like I had a doctor's appointment coming up, so I was like, okay, like I'm gonna get some answers. So I go there and I get like some answers, but also it's kind of like you need to go to a gynecologist if you want to know like, you know, the full thing, to get an ultrasound and all of that. I was definitely freaking out at this point. Like I was just like, oh my God, like there's blood coming out, there's some blood clots coming out, like, and that's when I started to really freak out, is when the blood clots started coming out. Throughout this, like the internet was saying like you're gonna experience insane cramping and blah blah blah, and like through this part it wasn't that bad, like it was just later on. So I was just like, okay, it's just blood, it's normal, like, you know, the doctors are saying this could be fine. When I went to the doctor's appointment, they couldn't really like do like a pap smear on me because I was bleeding a lot. I will insert pictures. Now, I want you guys, like if you don't want to look at this, look away. The pictures I'm about to insert are the ones a couple days into the bleeding. So yeah, the whole process lasted about 2 weeks. Just to get everything out of my system. I went to the doctor, like I said, they couldn't like give me a pap smear and everything properly because clearly like there's a lot of blood. But she did stick like a thing up me and like open it up and look up in there with like a light. And she told me that like my cervix wasn't dilated, so that's a good sign because usually your cervix dilates when like a baby is trying to come out. So I was like, okay, cool, like it's just a lot of bleeding, but okay. She put a ultrasound thingy in me. Like when she put the thing on my belly, like she didn't really see anything. And then when she stuck it up in me, she didn't really see anything. So I will insert the pictures of that. I have the ultrasound where you can see like maybe like a tiny little sac, but like not really anything going on in there. So also on the ultrasound, there was no like heartbeat or anything either, which definitely at 6 weeks you should be seeing a heartbeat. And by the time I went in to do the ultrasound and the whole like appointment, I was definitely at like 6.5 weeks. When they showed me my lab results at like the end of the day that day, like my pee test and my blood test all came up for positive for pregnant. So they told me that they were gonna do blood work like over the next few days and like tell me like my results and like tell me like what's going on with my body and everything. So throughout this, like I was still bleeding a lot. Like I said, I was bleeding over the course of most of these blood tests and everything. So I just remember I stopped bleeding and I was like, oh wow, like this is a good sign. Like I'm not bleeding anymore. And like nothing crazy came out. Like the doctor explained to me that like, you know, if you are having a miscarriage, like something will come out. Like you'll like, depending on how early, like a 3-4 week miscarriage, maybe not. But at this point, like I was like 6-7 weeks in, you know, I was at least 7 weeks in at this point. But I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. I was pretty much like bedridden, like at home watching Netflix for like this entire process. Like I was like helpless, like really like couldn't put much activity on my body or anything. So basically me and my boyfriend like hooked up when the bleeding stopped. Everything was cool, like I enjoyed it and there wasn't blood that splattered everywhere. Like we didn't like have sex or like I'm not gonna say what we were doing, like just use your imagination. Yeah, so I'm feeling good, like I'm feeling confident about this, like everything's gonna work out. And then like I just remember that night like I was having like really bad cramps and like like I'm cramping and like I was like tossing and turning. And I remember one of my cats was screaming and woke me up at like 7 in the morning. So I was like and I go to the bathroom and I pee and I wipe and I notice there's like blood again. I'm like great. You know, I had like a whole day, almost like 2 days of like no blood, and then all of a sudden I wipe and there's like blood again. So I go to bed, wake up a couple of hours later. I just remember that Bradley was using the bathroom and I went in there and like when I like sat up, like any girl who has a period knows this, that if you like sneeze or stand up after sitting down for a while or something, like the blood flows. You can like feel the blood like flow. And it was kind of like that when I woke up. Like I could like feel like blood flow and I was like, oh my God, you know? So I went in the bathroom and like went to like wipe so like it wouldn't like go in my underwear. And what I saw on the toilet paper, my jaw like dropped. Like it was disturbing. I just remember looking at it and going like, whoa. Like it did not look normal. But like I was so tired, like I just like wiped and was like, and like put it like in the trash can in the bathroom. This is what I immediately saw right after I wiped, like as I said, like after waking up. I think I went back to bed, slept a couple more hours or something, and then woke up and like I kind of like more so processed it. I processed it and I was like, look, I need to pull that out of the trash and take like a closer look at it. And I know like there's not like smell-o-vision here, but throughout this whole thing, like all the blood that came out, all the clots, like everything, I know this is like a side note you probably did not want to hear, but it smelled like death. Like I don't know what a rotting corpse smells like, but I would assume that's what a rotting corpse would smell like. Like all the blood and stuff that came out, like it was horrible. Like it made the bathroom smell like I had to like continuously take the trash out. Like all the pads and everything that were in there were just like, it was smelled so bad. So I pulled it out and I took a closer look at it. I went on Google, I compared it to images of like what a fetus would look like that's like aborted at a certain amount of weeks or like what's going on. I did my assumptions and my compare and contrast and I put the 2 and 2 together, and that was definitely like a exploded sac with like a fetus. There's like supposed to be like a yolk sac that it's in, and then like the baby's growing in there. I'm assuming that's what came out, like a busted up yolk sac. Like supposedly that's supposed to look like a cotton ball or something. It did look like a pulled apart cotton ball. Like I'm gonna insert another picture. This is what I looked at when I pulled it out, like after waking up a couple of hours later. I know these pictures are really graphic and disgusting. Like it's actually making me nauseous, and I'm not even looking at the screen right now. I'm just explaining this. I don't know, the thought of like my child basically like getting thrown in a trash can just like didn't really settle well with me. So that's another reason why I pulled it out. I of course cried. Like I cried and cried and cried, and I took the tissue and I just set it in the toilet and said a few words. I don't know if you're religious or what you believe in, but I just had to say something, and then I flushed.
I don't know if you might think I'm a horrible person for saying that. Like, I don't even know what else to say. I know this is like such a strange, like random video. It just had to be said. Like, it's just, this is part of my life, you know? Like, this YouTube channel is not just like a place where I'm trying to get clout or money. Basically, in a nutshell, I went through a miscarriage. I was pregnant for almost 2 months, and I don't know if it was a boy or a girl. I never will know. I've done a lot of research, and it's like says that by the age of 35, your eggs are like starting to like really lose their potency. Like, over the age of 35 is very risky to get pregnant, like, whether you want to believe it or not. I've always wanted to have like 3 kids. I'm running out of time to do that. Scary. It's definitely hard to just be normal and recover after this and just hop on the internet. Hopefully other people who come across this video on YouTube can relate. Losing a kid, whether it was only a few weeks old or like, you know, when your kid's like 20 something years old. I mean, God, that must be really hard. It's a really shitty feeling. You go from feeling so full and whole and so like inspired for the future, like, whoa, like, I need to do this for my kid. I need to do this for my kid. I need to be the best person I can be, to like, whoa, I feel like a freaking failure. Like, I couldn't keep something alive. Hopefully, I can look back on this video and realize how much I've grown. Hopefully. I'm still not going to take medication. You know, that's one thing I got out of all of this. I'm not on any medication or anything anymore. I'm just trying to be as healthy and as natural as I can be. Taking prenatals, even though like I'm not pregnant anymore. I'm just going to keep my body in like baby mode, healthy mode, as long as possible, so when the time comes to try again. Sorry this channel has taken a really depressing turn recently, from like my ex-roommate to like now a video about me losing a kid. That's a thing. All I can ask for right now is positivity, even though it's hard, because you go through moments like right now, like I'm talking to you and I'm totally fine, but you do go through moments where you just bust out in tears. So that's pretty much all I have to say. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. I don't know if I should ask you guys to like this video, considering this is like one of the hardest things I've ever gone through. So I don't know if like liking equals like I like that you went through this shit, or if liking equals I like that you made this video. But either way, interpret that as you must. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I can see you guys soon with a new video on this channel. Bye.